Hi, guys, and welcome to the first episode of Sorry, I'm Rambling. So, this is really exciting. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and I'm pretty excited as to where this is gonna go. I'm also just doing this because I've just started uni and I feel, I don't know, some sort of, let's just go with excitement. I don't know, not excitement for uni, that has since died out, but just excitement to do more, to be more social. That's just what I feel like. So yeah, welcome to the first ever episode. Have a seat, take a hot drink, take a shower, do whatever you want to do, and listen to me talk for the next, hopefully, just 30 minutes. Okay, so today's episode, we're going to be talking about relationships. That would be 3 different forms: relationship with friends, relationship with family, and relationship with that special person, whoever that is. We're gonna start it off with relationship with friends. Now, relationship with friends. Ooh, this is, I don't even know what to say. Okay, personally for me, I find it difficult to make friends. And I'm pretty sure I wasn't always like this. Because I remember when I was really younger, I was able to make friends with just about anyone. I was the social butterfly. I was talking to anyone about literally anything. But I went to the same high school as, one does for about 7 years. And I think I got comfortable. Well, not 7 years, but 6. I think I got super comfortable. And I think it was more like, yeah, I don't need to make any new friends. And that was it. And we never really did have any new students come in. So there was no reason for me to pick up on my skills. Then I moved to a different high school, and all of a sudden I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I freeze up. I just don't know what to do. So friendship it's sort of I want to say it's a big deal, because I feel like you need friends no matter what you do. I feel like every single time, at every stage of your life, I feel like everyone just needs a friend. And I feel like you already have a friend. Even if that friend's your mom, your sister, your brother, or anyone else, you do have a friend. Which is great. But I don't know about right now. With me personally, I don't know how my friendships take toll. I don't know my current situation with friends. Because previously, if you asked me 3 years ago, I'd have 3 main people that I tell you I'm totally friends with them. This is my friend. This is someone that I tell every single thing to. But then life moves on, and I just found myself not being friends with those people anymore. One, I had a really bad falling out with, but I'm never going to say that it's bad. I'm just going to say that we drifted apart. And the other, we really just drifted apart. Time had other plans for us, situation has other plans for us. It was just something that didn't last long. I'm just going to put it like that. But yeah, relationship with friends. I'm not an expert, but I just want to say that a relationship with a friend is something that gives you, it's very, I'm going to say this, and I feel like it's going to be a very hot take, but I feel like friendships are more emotional than a relationship with a significant other. Why do I say that? I feel like a friend is in your life every day, and a friend is, most of the time, you have a longer relationship with a friend than you do with a significant other. I'm just going to go into a little short, quick story about why me and that one person aren't friends anymore. I thought we were really close friends. So when I moved, he was the only person I kept in contact with. He was the one person that just he didn't leave me alone for any reason. We were friends for a really long time. And I was like, this person is going to be in my life forever. And I appreciate him for that. I love him for that. I love him for listening to me when I talk, for giving me advice, even just the random check-ins in the middle of the day, hey, how are you doing? We literally spoke every single day for a year. And I don't feel like that's an exaggeration. And I thought, okay, we fight maybe once a week, twice a week, but this is just how normal friendships go. Everyone has a little spat once in a while. Everyone fights. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, that was just how I felt about everything. Until one day, he starts pulling away. And I'm noticing that he's pulling away. Remember, guys, this is my one friend. This is the one person I have keeping me sane. My family life's not. My relationship with my family isn't going so great. My relationship with anyone else is pretty much non-existent. So at this point, this person was my lifeline, and he starts pulling away. He's not talking to me as much. I'm like, did I do anything wrong? Are we good? Like, help me out here. What's going on? He's like, yeah, we're good. We're fine. He's giving me one-ended responses. He's being super dry. I feel horrible. My heart literally wants to fucking explode because I start having flashbacks. I'm having like fucking whiplash. I'm like, oh my god, like, what if he's not there with me like tomorrow or my birthday? I can't imagine celebrating my birthday without this person. Literally, I thought my life was gonna explode. Shocker, it didn't. It didn't, guys. I'm still here. And basically, he's just like, nothing happened, da-da-da-da. And turns out he got a girlfriend. And I was like, oh, okay. You know what? I can respect that. That's fine. That's cool. That's fine with me. Like, I can understand wanting to pull back a little bit because you have, like, time to be preoccupied with someone else. That's completely understandable. So we cut down communication just a bit. It's killing me inside, but I'm like, do you know what? I don't want to be that person that's like, I don't want to be that person that the girlfriend has to feel some sort of type of way for. So I'm like, okay, it cuts down a bit. I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like, he said he'll still be there for me and things like that. All well and good. So something really dramatic happens, like my family's not doing so great, and I tell him about it. He's like, oh my god, like, and then I think he breaks it off with his girlfriend. He's more present again. It's going, like, everything's back to normal. It's great. It's like, we're moving at a really good pace. And he starts, like, sleeping around with other people, which I don't judge. I don't care what you do with other people. That's your business. You're just my friend. The only part I care is if, like, they're being a dickhead to you. That's when I'm like, we're not gonna stand for that. We're not gonna take that. So yeah, it's on and off. He comes back, he leaves. He comes back, he leaves. This time he's not even dating. He's just sleeping around, and it is killing me. Every single time. Every single time, I'm like, is he gone forever? Is he not gonna come back? Is he sick of me? Because then again, we were fighting. It was not the best of relationships, but it was the only relationship that I had to cling on. And I was literally dying for it. So yeah, we basically just stopped talking. At some point, I get so mad. I'm like, I'm not going to take this anymore. Like, I don't care if we don't talk anymore. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to block you because that's too heart-wrenching to do. But I'm just not going to be the one that's always texting first. I'm not going to be that person. And basically, we just stopped talking. And that's the end of that friendship. And I felt so shitty because I was like, I told you this horrible thing is happening to me right now. And I want you to be a good friend and reach out to me and just help me. Like, just help me process this. You've been my friend for fucking 2 years. Help me process this and help me understand this. Because I'm alone right now. I have no one else but you. And I can't lie, guys. I felt like a little bit taken advantage of. I felt so bad for such a long time that was the only feeling that I knew how to feel. And now I'm just fucked in the terms of friendships. I feel like I'm too much for people. I feel like I'm too little. I feel like we don't like, if I don't click with someone immediately, I feel like the friendship's over. I don't know. Sometimes there's just silence between me and a possibly new friend. And I'm like, what do I say? How can I fill in the silence so this person doesn't see me and instantly just gets tired? Relationships with friends are so... If it's not easy, it's hard. And there's no in between. There's no easy, hard, easy, hard. If it's not easy, it's just fucking hard. Yeah. I don't know what to do, guys. That was relationship with friends. I feel like I should expand a bit more, but maybe that's gonna be a whole episode for a whole day. Now let's move on. Relationships with family. Do you know, relationships with family, they're complicated. And honestly, it's not always easy to talk about. I feel like when it comes with family, especially with parents, there's this expectations that things are supposed to be smooth. That's because they're family. They'll automatically understand you. But if you're anything like me, you probably realize that that's not always the case. For me, one of the most challenging relationships that I've had is with my mom. And don't get me wrong, I love my mom deeply. But we just argue all the time. There are just moments where it just feels like we're speaking completely different languages. Like I'm speaking English and she's speaking like fucking Chinese. I don't get it. And I think that's where a lot of the tension comes from, the misunderstanding. It's like I'm trying to express myself, to explain what I'm feeling, and it just doesn't land, like, at all. And that's frustrating. When you're pouring your heart out, but it feels like what you're hearing is a completely different narrative. Sometimes I end up being like the fucking villain. And it's really difficult. There have been times when we've had full-blown arguments. You know the ones I mean? When the energy in the room is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. When my sister walks in and she's like, someone definitely died here. And in those moments, I'm not just frustrated, which, trust me, I'm very frustrated. I just feel misunderstood. Like she sees me as this ungrateful, rebellious person. Someone that is just out to get her. Someone that she just wants to be rude or something. But in reality, I'm just trying to carve up my own space. Like, I want to build my own identity. And I feel like it's also coming from the divide of age. There are just some things that she sees as completely wrong, and I just don't see it that way. And I don't want to be that person, but why should I have to change my entire narrative to fit hers? And some people might be like, oh, because of love, you love her, that's why you should do this. But I just feel like, yeah, love is accommodating. Love is about being able to adapt. But at the same time, I feel like love is also being understanding. Love is also thinking about it like, okay, I don't agree, but we're going to have to agree to disagree. That's it. But, here's the thing. I think a lot of that conflict does actually come from love. As much as I hate to admit it, when I caught up in my own feelings, I know that the arguments, the disagreements, they stem from her wanting what's best for me. There's no way my mom's gonna want something evil for me. I don't want to believe that she's that kind of person. I feel like she does want what's best for me, but her methods might not exactly be the best way. Her idea of best clashes with my own idea of how I want to live my life. It's tough though. Being constantly misunderstood can definitely wear you down. And sometimes I just need to step back and remind myself that the villainization I feel isn't always intentional. There's this, like I said, generational gap too, where things like emotion and mental health might not have been talked about the same way back then as they are right now. I'm not gonna stand here and say that I'm the best person when it comes to expressing myself. I'm definitely not. I'm maybe even the worst person, because I'm the sort of person that just keeps it all bottled in and just doesn't say anything, and I just wait for it to explode, which, trust me, I'm working on. I'm trying to be able to come forward and express what's going on in my mind. For my mom, she expresses it a bit too much. She says certain things when she's angry in the heat of the moment, and it deeply hurts me. But the thing is, once she said it, she's free. She's at peace. She probably even remember all the hurtful things she said the next day. And when I bring it up to her, she's like, I definitely didn't say that. No, you're wrong. I would never say that. There has been times when I've left a conversation with my mom feeling like really small. Like I'm the tiniest person that ever lived. Like I'm the problem. Like I'm being selfish or overdramatic. And those moments definitely stick with you. I think that's the downside of family relationships. Because they're the people who are supposed to know you best. Like there's the people that they just get you, you know? But it stings even more when you realize that these people don't get me. You expect that level of understanding to just be there, but when it isn't, it just cuts deeper than with anyone else. Do you remember that friendship I was telling you about? Yeah, that hurt me really badly. But I promise you, it's a different sort of hurt when it comes to dealing with my parents. When it comes to dealing with anyone in my family, really. Maybe because with friends, you're prepared for the possibility of miscommunication or disagreement. But with families, it's like, aren't you supposed to get me by now? I've been with you for over a decade and you can't really see me for who I am. Of course, it's not all that bad. There are moments of connection, like when we finally see eye to eye after what feels like a never-ending battle. Or when my mom says something that makes me realize how much she cares. Even when she doesn't quite understand me, I can tell that, oh, you really do care about me. And those moments, they keep me grounded. No, it's quite rare, but the times when it does happen, I'm on earth. I'm grounded, basically. They remind me that despite all the arguments, all the misunderstandings, we are still family. And that is definitely something that I wouldn't trade for anything. But yeah, it's definitely not easy. I'm still navigating it all. And honestly, some days are definitely a million times better than others. If you ever feel like the black sheep in your family, like the villain in a story that's not even yours, like you just like you feel like everything you're doing, it's definitely wrong. You're doing everything the wrong way. You're breathing the wrong way. You're speaking the wrong way. You're communicating the wrong way. Like it's so common. Like you're not a monster. You're not this evil person that it feels like everyone is trying to make you out to be. You're human. You're perfectly normal. And like it took me a long time to just be like, okay, you think that way, I don't care. Like when I used to say, oh, I don't care, I definitely cared. I'd go back to my room and sit in the dark crying about it for an hour. So I definitely cared. But now when I say I don't care, I truly don't care. Like I could have a fight with my mom and my sister, and I would just be like, you know what, I don't care about this. And then I'd sleep and wake up the next day like, that happened. But yeah, I definitely didn't care. I think it's important to acknowledge that even though family is supposed to be a safe space, it's definitely okay to be hurt. And it's most definitely okay to want better communication. It doesn't mean that you love them or hate them any more or less. It doesn't mean that at all. So everyone just take a deep breath, take your time. I want to say that we have a lot of time, but we actually don't know what's going to happen in the future. But whatever happens, just know that you're taking everything a day at a time. You just give yourself the grace that your family isn't giving you. So here's to figuring it out. One definitely messy conversation at a time. And maybe, just maybe, finding a little bit more understanding with your family along the way. That it was basically my take on relationships with family. Now we're gonna go on to the big one. Not the big one, but you guys get what I mean. Relationships with that significant other. Let's get into it. Just like with family relationships, it's messy. It's beyond messy. But it's a different kind of messy. There's this pressure, this unspoken, definitely unspoken, expectation to have everything figured out, to communicate perfectly, to be the ideal partner. And that's just not realistic at all. I'll be real with you. I don't always communicate well. In fact, I'm shit at it, like I told you guys. I am horrible. It's something I struggle with a lot. And it's not like I don't want to express myself, because sometimes I really, really do. But the words just don't come out right. I end up saying things I don't mean. I end up lashing out. It just feels icky. It feels really shitty. It feels bad. Or worse, I just shut down completely. Like, there's a point where it gets so overwhelming, and instead of trying to talk it out, I just retreat into myself. And that creates distance. You can feel it growing with you and the person you're with. They're reaching out, trying to understand, trying to help, but you're just not there. Or even worse, they're not reaching out. They're not trying to understand. So you just sit there and like, are they finally sick of my shit? Are they done with me? Is this the end? It's something that I feel everyone, me and maybe that other person, is trying to work through. How to stop shutting down when things get tough. And definitely it's easier said than done, because once that wall goes up, it's like I don't even know how to bring it down anymore. There's this pressure I feel sometimes, like I have to be on all the time in a relationship. I don't think I worded that rightly, but I hope you guys understand. Like, I have to be the perfect version of myself. I have to not fart. I have to not burp. I have to not do things that are perfectly normal to do when I'm with myself. But with that person, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't show them that I'm flawed, because if I do, it's like, who are you? Who am I with? And they might see me for something different. Because let's be real, like, when you go up to someone and you want to date someone, you don't really know that person. You just know what they show you. You know what you see in the morning when you're going to class. You know that pretty face that you waved to. You know the person that smiled at you when you scored your first when you scored your first strike bowling. Like, you don't really know that person. You have this image of them that you've created in your head. It's so difficult to then try and bridge some sort of gap between, oh, this is the person I know and this is the person that they are. But I think with me is that I'm scared. I'm scared to show them who I really am, because I'm scared of rejection. I do have that little fear of rejection. And to be honest, when I'm not that perfect version of myself, I feel off. I feel like I'm struggling. It's the worst day come to life. I start to feel like I'm letting them down, like I'm not good enough. And that just spirals into more pressure, more shutting down, more miscommunication. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. But here's the part that's been hitting me the hardest lately. I've noticed how much of what I do in relationships, that's just a reflection of what I saw growing up. The way I react, the way I deal with conflict, how I handle or don't handle my emotions. It's like I'm mirroring the things I picked up from my parents without even realizing it. And don't get me wrong, when I saw these things play out in real time, I was like, I would never do that. Like, that is so wrong. That is so mean. I would never do that. And now, it's not just in romantic relationships. It's how I deal with people in general. It's like I carry these patterns with me everywhere. And it's exhausting. When I catch myself doing something that I swore I'd never do. Whether it's getting defensive when something brings up something that bothers them, or shutting down when I'm upset. Those are the things that I saw growing up. And it's frustrating because I know what's happening, but I can't always stop it in the moment. It's like being on autopilot, and it's hard to rewire that behavior. And I think at some point I was like, do I even want to? Do I want to take the time to be better for my significant other? would I just rather be alone? And it's difficult because if this is something that I've been carrying me for such a long time. And it's not that I blame my parents or anything like that. I get it. They were doing the best they could with what they had. But it's tough when you see these patterns seeping into your own life. Like I'll catch myself in the middle of an argument with my partner. And I realize that I'm doing that thing. That thing that my mom did to my dad. That thing that my dad did to my mom. I think one of the hardest things about being in a relationship is that it forces you to confront those parts of yourself that you just rather not look at. You can't run away from them when someone is right there, reflecting them back at you. And honestly, sometimes it feels like I'm failing, like I'm not being the person I want to be or the partner I want to be. But I'm learning slowly, definitely slowly. But I'm learning that communication isn't something that comes naturally to everyone. And it's okay to struggle with it. What's important is that I'm trying to break those old habits, trying to be better. And sometimes I do get it right. And that's what keeps me going. I'm like, ooh, that's a good one from you. I actually spoke about this problem instead of screaming my head off. Instead of crying to myself, instead of not speaking to my partner. One of the things that I've been trying to focus on is recognizing when I'm shutting down and pushing myself to communicate instead. It's hard, especially when it feels like vulnerability is the scariest thing in the entire world. But what I've realized is that when I do open up, even just a smidge, just a little, it changes things. It makes the relationship feel more real, more connected, and less like I'm going through the motions. But of course, it's not just about me. Relationships are about two people. And while I'm working on my stuff, they're definitely working on theirs too. It's this weird, it's this weird TikTok dance of figuring out how to come together when you're both carrying baggage from your past. And that's where the real work is. Learning to be patient with each other while you both navigate your own issues. And I'm not even in a relationship right now. I definitely do miss being in one, but I just don't think that I'm ready for that. But yeah, if you're listening to this and you feel like you're constantly messing up, like you're bringing the weight of your past into your present, just know that you're not alone. Relationships are hard work, and none of us, not a single person, not the person that has been married for a decade, no one has it figured out. It doesn't mean we're failing. It just means that we're human. We're people. People struggle. People aren't perfect. No one's perfect. That girl or that boy that you think is perfect, they're not perfect. They have something that they're struggling with. But yeah, as much as I struggle, I do think that it's worth working on. It's worth trying to be vulnerable even when it scares you. Because at the end of the day, relationships are built on connection, and that can't happen if you're hiding behind walls. So yeah, I'm still learning, still growing, still figuring it all out, but I'm hopeful, I think I am, that with time I'll get better at this whole communication thing. And maybe, just maybe, I will break some of these old patterns for good. That's all I have to say about relationships with that other person. Okay, guys, that was our first real episode. Thank you so much for listening and stay to the end. This is shocking. You just listened to me yap and ramble and talk for 30 minutes. I appreciate you guys so much. I don't know what to do. Share this with your friends or anyone you think will relate. Just really put this platform out there so that more people that think like you and I get to experience this. I will be posting once a week. Don't know which day. I'll tell you when I get a schedule. But yeah, this was definitely fun, and this is something that I definitely be doing again. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.